Yo, it's your boy Leo Flowers out here in Vancouver, Canada. Doing a show with my boy Chris Shaw. Check him out at the real Chris Shaw on Twitter. Today, book review Fridays. I know I haven't done a book review in a while, but bam! Look at that. Crucial conversations. And look, let me tell you something. If you're in a relationship, even if you're out of a relationship, if you have a job, if you talk to people, you talk to yourself, you got to read this book, Crucial Conversations. Look. That doesn't always mean something. I've read some crappy bestsellers, but this book right here is it's important because most of the time I feel like, I look back on my relationships and the relationship I'm in now, and sometimes you have a conversation, you go, how the hell did what just happened? Like like you start off talking about one thing, you think it's small, and then boom, it becomes something else, and you walk away after a half hour talking or yelling or whatever it is you do, and nothing gets resolved. How many of you have had that? Yeah, exactly. So, bam, that's why you need this book. And it's a quick read. It's very thin. How many pages? 200, but you don't need to read every chapter, people, because they give you a quiz in there to help assess how you have conversations. Most people fall into two categories. Either they get silent and withdraw, or they become very attacking and violent. And apparently, according to this, uh, I'm all silent. Like you see a yellow right there, but I had made a mistake and checked it wrong. And I am all silent. That's my default mode. Very silent. My girl is the opposite. She hasn't taken it, but she's definitely not silent. She's outspoken, and so it's interesting to see like what my style is during a conversation because I definitely just like I'm like a dude like I just shut down. I just like what. And that's not healthy. And I definitely recognize that since I want her to be the woman in my life for the rest of my life, I gotta work on me. I gotta learn how to have conversations, crucial conversations that are productive and that lead somewhere, and not just with the person you're in a relationship with, but also with your boss. A lot of you have jobs and there's stuff that you want to bring up or say to your boss, and you're not quite sure how to have that crucial conversation. This book will show you how to do it, and it's very practical. And so three things. I give you three things out the book real quick. Uh, One, and it's gonna sound simple, but a lot of us don't do it. And one is just asking for what you want. A lot of people get into conversations and they're not clear on what they want. They talk about what is and what's going on, and you maybe you start attacking the other person, but at no point do you really give a clear statement about what it is that you want and what it is you don't want, right? Because if you don't know what that is, then we're just going to be going in circles all day. It's like, what do you want? It's like, I don't know what I want, right? Um, the second thing is that a lot of times when we are, because I used to counsel married couples, and a lot of times people would you get in a conversation and you're always nitpicking at an event of like, oh, 2 days ago she did this, or yesterday he did that, and that's not always helpful to address the incident. What's more helpful is to address the pattern. And what I mean by that is we all have patterns. We all have a way that we usually do things. Like I usually, go silent and withdraw. Some people always attack. Some people do too much. Some people do too little. Some people overextend themselves. Some people underextend them. Like everybody has a pattern of how they do things. We have a pattern of how we approach our work. Have a pattern of how we interact with our kids and have conversations. We all have patterns, and some of those patterns are good and they're productive and helpful, and then some of them are very negative and they hurt our progress. And so instead of always discussing what somebody has done, pinpoint their pattern, because when you address somebody's pattern, they're less defensive, right? And they're more willing they're more open to suggestion and observation and to grow from that, because you're like, here's what you've been doing, over the past 2 months and or the 3 years or whatever, and here's the pattern. And they go, yeah, that's true, because when you bring up a pattern, people know, they know what their pattern is. And so for you to bring that up and say, well, how do we work on the pattern, as opposed to how we work on this one thing? Because if we work on a pattern, then this one little thing that we're upset about, that's going to get addressed in that. The third thing is I don't really know what the third thing is. I really haven't thought about it, but I always like to say three things. But the third thing they talk about is AMPing. And AMP is an acronym for Ask, Mirror, Paraphrase, and Prime. And you really have to read the book to get into all that. But a lot of times when we're in a conversation, somebody will say, bring up what they're upset about, or whatever their issue is. And instead of us really asking and digging deeper to get more clarity on what it is they're talking about, we immediately either become defensive, or we think we know what they're talking about, and we start giving answers, or giving our statement or our side of the story. But asking is such a big part of it, because a lot of times when we bring up stuff, we're not even sure what it is we want or what we're looking for. And so it's hard to have a meaningful dialogue if there's really no clarity in the beginning. I mean, how are you going to resolve something if you don't even know what the something is? Because a lot of times what we bring up initially in a conversation is not really what it is that we want to talk about. So it's very important that you ask and dig deeper into what it is they're feeling and thinking, so that you could really get to the root of what's going on. So ask more questions before you start giving your little side of the story, and take the test. Get this book to take the test, or not the test, but just the quiz, to see if you're more of a withdrawal, or if you're more of an attacker or violent person. And then what's cool is, and this is a really cool part about the book, after you take the quiz, they tell you what your strengths are, right? So the highlighted sections that you see right there, that's what I'm good at. And then those three areas that aren't highlighted are the things that I need to work on. And so then you go to the chapter that you need to work on. So you don't have to read the whole book. You take the quiz, and you figure out what your weaknesses are, or areas for improvement, like we like to say, and then go to that part instead of having to read the whole book and trying to work on everything. But so yeah, get the book. This book definitely gets 4 stars. I think it's amazing. I think it's something that everybody should have, even if you feel like you don't have issues. It'll just kind of keep you sharp. So keep those crucial conversations going, and I'll see you guys next time. I mean, tonight we're doing a show at Laugh Lines, which is crazy. Tonight and tomorrow, 420 weekend, so it should be bananas. Share this, comment. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know why I'm scratching my head. I'll see you guys later. Bye.